Welcome to the August Huckster Hop. This is August 17th, and we have an evening filled with 10 vintage resellers, all selling a variety of great vintage items. As you are joining my video, we are offering a $5 ephemera sale. This is a preview of everything that will be coming up in this video. So if you see anything you like, you can stay tuned through the video and watch to see it come up. Or if you want to cheat a little bit, it is a pre-recorded video, so you do have the ability of watching it at a faster speed or fast forwarding through it to find the items that you want. Stay tuned for the video, and if you see anything you like, be sure to claim it in the comments, as this is not a live video. I will be watching the comments and honoring claims made in the order that they are posted. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the hop. All right, we're going to start off the ephemera sale, finding out who's a little bit country and who's a little bit rock and roll. We've got some fantastic frame puzzles from Whitman Publishing, which is the same company that does the Golden Books. These are both copyrighted 1977, which would be no surprise because if you grew up of a certain age, you know the Osmond show, Donnie and Marie. Both of them are complete, and both of them are available for $5 each by giving puzzle A for this pair, the full body pair, and puzzle B gets you the portrait close-ups of Donnie and Marie. I admittedly don't carry sheet music very often because it's, of limited appeal. Not a lot of people are going to be plucking out their piano or singing some of these old songs. But these are all military themed, and I just couldn't pass them up. So these are sheet music, and they're all available for music for $5 each, music A, B, C, D, or E. All of them open up, but the attraction is the cover. So we've got these sailors from World War II singing bell-bottom trousers, give you an idea of what the music looks like. This is copyrighted in 1944. So this would be for piano and vocals. Then for music B, we've got a boy in khaki, a girl in lace. Check out the way the silhouettes were done. Again, this one was copyrighted in 1942, so we're in the middle of the war. This one's a little bit older, and he'd say, ooh la la wee wee, and you can tell by her dress and his uniform, we are in World War I at this point. And so this one was copyrighted 1919, so this is music C. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Got a great active military view on this one with the little ad for buying war bonds and stamps. This one is copyrighted 1942. So this is actually multiple pages. So it actually has an insert page because the song is longer. Oh, and it actually gives a little story behind the song. So that is music D. And then music E is the caissons go rolling along, the artillery song, which you may not even realize you knew that song, but you did because I just sang it. So this one was from originally copyrighted 1921, but then renewed copyright in 1930 and then copyrighted 1936. So we are just before World War II on this one. And this has, again, a great illustration with the caissons, which are the cannon, the wheeled cannon that would be pulled by the horses. So that is music E. So $5 each, music A, B, C, D, and E. I know there's different schools of thought of whether you offer non-seasonal items other times of the season, but these were too cool to pass up. So I picked them up and I'm offering them here for the very first time. They're all vintage, either mechanical or die-cut Valentines. So Valentine A, B, C, D, E, and F. The first one, Valentine A, is a die-cut, so you could put it in an envelope flat, but then it's been folded out and you've got, take care, you are sliding right into my heart. or you can cross that out and say right in my DMs. So we've got this, and then it kind of stands up by itself, theoretically. So that is Valentine A. Valentine B is also a die cut that stands up. So it's got a little kind of a gate leg on the back that helps it stand upright. And then her door opens to the little gate, and it just says, "To my Valentine." So that is Valentine B. Valentine C would go into an envelope flat. You can see it was given to Fern from Betty. And you open it up and it's got the little honeycomb paper across the bottom. I'm not sure if does it open all the way? Oh, I guess you can open it all the way and then pin it on the back so that it would stand upright, or somehow hold it up like that. So that is Valentine C. Valentine D is mechanical, and then there's a little door that opens up that says, "I love you truly," with the music. And it says, "It's on the record, you're my Valentine." And he's holding a little phonograph record, so he is a die cut as well, with Cupid off on the side. Then we've got "Maybe I'm a bit stubborn, but I loves you truly, Valentine." And this is a mechanical that the head actually moves back and forth. Hard to do with just one hand, but you can see on the back, there's a little tab there that allows the head to move back and forth. So he is a mechanical Valentine. Trust me, he does move a little bit better than that, but I'm trying to do it with my left hand. And then Valentine F is actually similar to the C. So this one says, and it's embossed, you can see it's embossed. Valentine Greetings, same thing, got the honeycomb on the bottom. So you can either, somehow hold it open that way or hold it all the way open. And you've got a little tabletop decoration. That is F. So that is Valentine F. A, B, C, D, E, and F, $5 each. So one of the things I tend to have a lot of to resell are vintage travel brochures, and mostly because, well, one, they're easy to ship, but I also enjoy them. So these are $5 each, and they all happen to be from Florida. So these would be Florida A, B, C, D, and E. So we've got a multi-fold out from Tampa Busch Gardens. Opens up to show some great vintage graphics, and then opens up again to show like kind of a map of Tampa. So that is Florida A. Florida B is from the Leitner Museum of Hobbies in St. Augustine. So this is also a fold out brochure that does open. Some black and white illustrations inside. So that is Florida B. Great Pirate, representing Key West, America's southernmost city. Opens up, so this is for the Greyhound tours. Hey, you do a one-day tour for $11.45. Bet you can't do that anymore. That's Florida C. The fabulous Weeki Wachee Spring of the Mermaids. So this is Florida D. Another fold-out brochure. Hard to show when I can only do it with one hand, but some great vintage graphics inside with the Weeki Wachee Mermaids. And the final is the Greyhound Racing at Derby Lane at St. Petersburg Kennel Club, world's oldest Greyhound racing track. This would be Florida E. Some great vintage images of the racetrack. Again, a fold-out brochure. So these are all available, $5 each. Florida A, B, C, D, and E. Some other popular travel items are the postcard portfolios. So I've got 6 of these available. Most of these are from the Pacific Northwest. They are all going to be under postcard A, B, C, D, E, or F. So these are all in some ways addressed. Now the first 2 do not have their stamps on them anymore, but they were filled in, and these all were mailed to someplace in New York. And you can see this actually has a single-digit zip code, so we are between World War II and 1963. So this is for the Grand Coulee Dam in the state of Washington. Open it up, and you get images, photo images of the Grand Coulee Dam and a little bit of history about that. So this would be postcard A. This was from the state of, so Grand Coulee Dam is in the state of Washington. Here's another one, greetings from the state of Washington. Again, it's addressed, single-digit zip code. The stamp is no longer here, but it is postmarked. So this one was postmarked in 1947. And so this is postcard B, again, photographic portfolio from the state of Washington. Another Washington Evergreen Playground. This one was postmarked with the stamps, 1946, again mailed into Syracuse, New York. Great color imagery on these, and photo portfolio on Washington State. That is postcard C. Postcard D is from the Columbia River, Multnomah Falls. So this is in Oregon. So we're still in the Pacific Northwest. A little bit later, this one was postmarked 1954 from Bridal Veils, Oregon. And open that up. Again, images, photos of the Columbia River Highway. And then we leave the Pacific Northwest, head into the Midwest, and get to Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So this one is also postmarked. Can't quite see the date on that one. Can't quite figure that one out. Does not have a zip code, but it's probably 50s, maybe 60s. Map in the back, Lake Geneva, and images of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, which is just north of the Illinois border. So that is postcard E. And postcard F takes us over to the East Coast, our nation's capital, postmarked 1947 with postage marks or postage stamps still on there. Greetings from Washington, D.C. Open it up and you've got all of the fantastic images from our nation's capital. So again, these are all $5 each. Postcard A, B, C, D, E, and F. So another favorite vintage advertising piece that I love to carry are these vintage or Victorian trade cards. So most of these are going to be early 20th century, but some may even drift into late 19th century. And these are all available by trade A, B, C, D, and E. So for trade A, we've got this great illustrated domestic sewing machine company with these great illustrations on the front, and then on the back, the company that actually carried the sewing machine, Ware and Sheffield Dry Goods in New Rochelle, New York. So great advertising piece there for sewing machines. Trade B is a Hires root beer trade card with babies. You see a bunch of babies. I assume the deal in quintuplets, but there's more than 5. So this was from a company, sold by a company in New Hampshire. It was attached to an album, so some of the paper on the back has unfortunately been lost, but that's why it's only $5. So Hires root beer, trade B. Trade C is a Coates spool company, J&P Coates spool company, with an image of Washington on the front. And this one does show the copyright of 1882, 1882. I don't have my cheaters on right now. But it also has the advertisement on the back showing an illustration of J&P Coates. That's trade C. Trade D is a great illustration of a man serenading a woman, promoting a drugstore, because, you know, why not? This is out of Rockville Center, Long Island. And on the back is the name of the drugstore and what they sold, including ladies and children's fine shoes. So that is trade D. And trade E is a little bit larger than all of the other ones, but unfortunately the corner was torn, so that's why it's only $5. This is an illustration for Frank Floor Dry Goods in York, Pennsylvania, with a detailed breakdown on the back of everything that they sold. So larger size, unfortunately, a little bit of damage that was taped somewhere in history, because that's old tape, to keep it together. So there's a little bit of damage on that one, but that again is why it's only $5. So trade A, B, C, D, or E, $5 each. For those of you who follow my channel, you know that I personally collect and have an affinity for vintage menus. I picked up this odd collection of menus that I'm not keeping in my personal collection, but what they are all from the 60s. They're all French, and they are all wedding menus. So at some point, it must have been a thing to publish or print the little menus that would represent what was available at the wedding banquet that you attended. So all of these are available for menu A, B, C, D. So this is September 1969 for Eliane and Michel. This is menu A. Menu B from 1968 for Chantal and Roland. Guess that was maybe their last name. And inside you got to see what they had for lunch and the wines that they served. That is menu B. Menu C, I think this is the name of the guest, because this is the same name that appears on several of these. So I think this was from his personal collection. He went to a lot of weddings. So from January 1967, the marriage of Monique and Jean. Great little gold foil. This is embossed on the front. And see what the wines that were available and what that menu was. And menu D is from 1968, the marriage of Monique and Christian. Little spot of color there with the red on the front. And again, showing the wines, they are French, and the food that was available. Fun little, if you're celebrating a wedding anniversary, doing a vignette, decorating for a wedding, great vintage wedding items, $5 each. Menu A, B, C, and D. I just love vintage advertising pieces. Whether you're trying to decorate a vignette or you're just, doing some industrial, creating an ephemera bowl, these are always fun little items to put in there. And these are all available $5 each for film A, B, or C. Something like this probably still exists, because technically you can still get film developed, maybe not quite the rolls of film, but this is the packet you would have used. And this one to get your film processed, you put the roll of film in here. This one actually has a date. So this was from 1946, and it's just this cool paper envelope for Cunningham quality. Your films deserve Cunningham quality. The best for 30 years. So cool little packet. This one is film A. A little bit later, because this is probably something I think I might even recognize from my lifetime, but the traditional Kodacolor prints from Kodak. Again, this one probably would have been the folder you got your pictures in. It seems kind of flat, but this one is blank, so it's more like new old stock. That is available with some nice colors in there for film B. And then film C doesn't have a date on it, but this was a mailing one, and he only mailed it for 4 cents. So this is getting older. So this was for Mira Gloss photos, and 8 exposure rolls, how much it costs to get your film actually developed. But you would mail the entire roll in there. Postage 4 cents per roll, 6 cents for 2 rolls. And then where it's from, so they can mail your photos back to you. Mail rolls or negatives in this envelope. So again, just kind of fun little vintage advertising pieces that just could make a cool little accent to a industrial display. Film A, B, or C, $5 each. My favorite thing to collect and resell are vintage catalogs, anything Huckster related. These aren't quite falling into that category, but they're getting close, because what these are the design books that you would buy to make your own knitted or crocheted pieces. So these are all, we're just going to say yarn, so we don't have to try and figure out how to spell crochet. Yarn A, B, C, D, E, or F. So we've got butterflies in crochet is yarn A. And just as you go inside, whether you're actually using these to learn to sew or not, there's just some fantastic illustrations in here. All of these are going to be from the 50s and the 60s. So we've got yarn A is the butterflies in crochet. Yarn B is the Dolls and Dolls crochet book. Unfortunately, there's a little bit of paper loss on that side, but if you flip it over, the back side actually still looks like the cover and has a crocheted doll. And I'm sorry, I can't look at these without thinking of the crocheted toilet paper covers that I grew up with. So this one's copyrighted 1951. So again, some great illustrations, and if you are so inclined, instructions on how to make a Little Red Riding Hood. And we've got the Star Variety Show of knitted and crocheted models for her, for him, for home, and for the baby from the American Thread Company. This is yarn C, and this one was copyrighted actually 1942, so we've gone a little bit older. The dramatic entrance, make the collar, we've got handbag, gloves, some fantastic illustrations and photographs from the 40s. And then we move into crochet lacy pickups, which, I don't know, that kind of looks like a vest. So this is yarn D. This one was copyrighted in 1943. So again, we're a little bit older. Showing some of the updos. Okay, I'm not sure. Oh, that's the Dickie collar. So some sort of a hair thing. And there's the Dickie with another hair piece. And we've got a little hat, which does not look 40s at all, but the gloves do. Great collar, veil, and again, instructions on how to make all of these. Yarn E is the quick to make gifts. So you can create your own freaky little bunny and your own cornucopia. This one is copyrighted in 1955 from Coates and Clark. The ponytail hat, so if you don't have long hair, you can fake it. Great headpieces, some baby items, again, with instructions on how to make all of this, but the attraction, I think, is the illustrations. And the last one, as yarn F, is fascinating toppers. So you've got some great art on the front representing. This one is also from 1944. So we got a little bit earlier one. Double dates. Check out the size of that handbag. Looks like she carry a laptop. Show business. Pin cushion. Looks like some hair, some head pins, hat pins. So again, some great pieces on this. So some fun graphics from the 40s and the 50s, actually earlier than I thought. So we've got yarn A, B, C, yarn D, E, and F, and they're all $5 each. For those of you who follow my channel, you know that I personally do community theater on the side just for fun. So when I have the chance to pick up theater ephemera, I just can't pass it up. So these were all picked up in the same place in an estate sale. These are all programs from regional productions. These are not from the Broadway tours, but these are the souvenir guides that you could pick up from the different shows. So these will all be programs, A, B, C, D, and E. So you start out with one of the longest running shows and one of the biggest touring shows, the cast of Cats. So this one has actually a little insert because it would have changed based on, it ran for so long, based on the cast would change as the tour continued to go. Some of the photographs will be from the Broadway production, but this again was more of a souvenir book to show the pictures. And I don't even know if they do these as much anymore, but I remember going to the theater as a kid. These were the big deals to get. So you got program A is for the Cats. Program B is for a chorus line. Again, some fabulous photographs inside. These all appear to be black and white. This is most likely from the 70s, early 80s. Great fold out, gate fold out for a 4-page spread in the middle. So that is for program B. Program C is Richard Harris in Camelot. Program D is an oversized, you can kind of see the size-wise, this one is actually quite a bit bigger than the others, for the Lion King. Again, some fantastic graphics inside of what the show looked like for their touring production. Absolutely, visually, a great looking program. So that is program D. And program E is for the producers. And this one also has a insert for the cast. Now this one actually had Brad Oscar and Hunter Foster, who were replacements on Broadway at one point. So this is probably from an earlier portion of the touring production. But again, photographs from the Broadway production, as well as some stills from the tours. So this would be program E. So program A, B, C, D, and E, $5 each. Even before I started focusing on ephemera, I always used to pick up these vintage cookbooks and recipe books just because I always thought they were interesting and fun. And, you know, sometimes you could actually find some recipes in there and make them. Check out one of my videos for the horrifying Spaghetti-O Jello mold. But these are ones that I've picked up since and making them all available for $5 each. So these will be cookbooks A, B, C, D, and E. So this is cookbook A, a book of recipes, cordially yours, Julius Marcus B. So some of these are brand cookbooks, the world's best cordials and how to use them. So this is an alcohol book. I guess so. So 7 fruits. I don't know if these are still available. Creme de menthe, that's still available. I don't know if that brand is still available. So this actually is a alcohol cookbook. So not quite the cookbook I thought it was. Needed to pay better attention. But anyway, so you've got the alcohol book for cookbook A. New cooking suggestions with the Raggedy Ann doll on the front. This one is the Procter & Gamble cookbook. And so this is going to be a bunch of brands from Procter & Gamble. So how to make pastries, rhubarb pie, some great illustrations, how to make biscuits. We even got a little bonus recipe stuck in there. And with the Crisco. So that's nice about these is you get some nice vintage ads sometimes. So nice little vintage Crisco ad. So this is cookbook B. Cookbook C is the Gold Medal Foods recipe book. So you can see right in the front, some vintage advertising for gold medal flours. And Washburn Crosby Company announces the arrival of 5 new editions. So advertising pieces promoting the brand. And again, a couple illustrations, but some good recipes in here as well. That is cookbook C for $5. Cookbook D is Round the World Recipe Favorites. So this was from Newspaper Food Editors. So this one may not be, well, no, there actually is some vintage advertising in here. Bluebonnet margarine. Let's see, Irish soda bread. Maybe it's just promoting the margarine. But some cute little illustrations as you go through it with some recipes. Fun little book. Again, $5. Oh, there we go. Some more advertising in the back. So we've got Planters Peanuts, Fleischmann, Tenderleaf Tea and Coffee, and Royal Gelatin. So fine grocery products by Standard Brands. Okay, so Standard Brands is the name of this one for this cookbook. So that is cookbook D. And cookbook E is actually a product-based one. It's for your Fryomat fryer cooker from Arrival, but with 59 tested recipes. You had some great illustrations and vintage advertising promoting the actual products. And that one, again, $5 by giving me cookbook E. $5 each for your collection of vintage cookbooks. So, hope you enjoyed the hop. And again, this is just a little summary of everything that was shown. If you wanted to make a claim, I hope you did so by going into the comments section of the video, posting the item number of the item that you are interested in. If you have not purchased from me before, please make sure to send me an email at thmvintage@gmail.com with your shipping information so that I can get an invoice to you with the proper shipping amount. Once you pay the invoice, I will be able to ship your item. Just a note, I am actually out of town while this video is running, so I will not be doing invoices until I return Sunday night. So apologize for the delays, but hope you enjoyed the hop and hope you found some great items to pick up, and be sure to join the next hop starting at 1/2 past the hour.